SpaceX just went public on Friday at over $1 trillion valuation, and I know most of us are still sitting on the fence trying to figure out if we should actually get in on this. This video is going to break down what exactly SpaceX is today, because it's not what you think. And by the end, I'll give you my straight up verdict on whether you should chase this IPO or stay away. You have to think of the business as 3 different layers stacked on top of each other. And the layer number 1 is the physical infrastructure. This is the rocket business. We are talking about their reusable rockets Falcon 9, Falcon Heavy and Starship. This is what they use to launch satellites and government payloads into orbit. And with every new generation, these rockets carry more weight and become even more reusable than the last. Now, these rockets bring in about $4 billion a year. But here's the thing, they barely break even on profit. SpaceX pours almost all of the money right back into their real game changer product, Starship. This is the vehicle meant for future Moon and Mars missions, but more importantly for investors, it's meant to drive the launch costs of way down. As you'll see this in a minute, a massive part of their story rides on this exact rocket. And that brings us to the layer 2, the connectivity. And guys, this is the real money-making machine. And this is the crown jewel. Through Starlink, SpaceX sells internet from space to business, ships, airlines, and you name it. They have roughly 10 million customers today, and that number is literally growing around 100% year over year. This single unit brings in about $10 to $13 billion a year, and it's what's funding absolutely everything else they do. And on top of that, they have something called Starshield, which is basically the military version of Starlink. And SpaceX sells premium access to this infrastructure to Department of Defense and various intelligence agencies. Honestly, this one has the potential to become an absolute monster of a business. Here's where the story gets really interesting. Layer 3, the intelligence. It consists of XAI, X, and compute. First, they have the data. They get the real-time human conversations and data through X, which is something most AI companies just don't own. Second, they have the models with Grok. This is likely one of the big revenue streams investors are betting on right now. And third, they have the compute layer, which is the biggest bet of them all. See, AI is turning into a massive compute race, and Colossus is one of the largest AI supercomputers ever built. It was originally designed to train Grok and support AI workloads across Musk companies, including SpaceX. But they have since built the next version, and get this, they reportedly leased the entire compute capacity of Colossus 1 to Anthropic, which uses it to power Claude. What that means is SpaceX may not just build AI, it could actually become a massive supplier of AI infrastructure. And this is where the vision gets even bigger. The long-term goal, the data center in orbit. Think about it, on Earth, power and cooling are massive bottlenecks for AI. Space could completely solve the power side because you have virtually unlimited solar energy. Everyone assumes cooling is easy in space because it's freezing. In reality, it's the exact opposite. Because space is a vacuum, there's no air or water to carry the heat away from the computers. So space data centers would actually need massive radiator systems just to shed that heat. Some estimates suggest that for every single ton of computing hardware, you would need roughly 10 tons of radiators. That is a massive problem, and that is exactly why Starship matters so much. To make orbital data centers economically viable, SpaceX has to slash launch costs dramatically. We're talking about dropping it from roughly $2,700 per kilogram today down to potentially around $200 per kilogram with a fully reusable Starship. If they can solve both of these things, the launch cost problem and the cooling problem, SpaceX won't just be competing with rocket companies, they could be going head to head with Amazon, Microsoft and Google for the literal future of AI infrastructure. And that may end up being the single biggest opportunity of all. And this layer is losing $6 billion a year currently. Now, should you chase it? Generally speaking, I don't chase IPOs. They're almost always driven by pure hype and retail frenzy. Most IPOs crash within their first 6 months, and then they slowly recover based on actual earnings and future guidance. With SpaceX, there are a lot of expensive promises on the table, and this massive valuation rides purely on near perfect execution of every single one of them. So for me at this point, I'm going to wait and watch. If I had some extra money that I was completely willing to throw away, sure, I'd put a small stake in, but absolutely no more than that. So I put together all this information in a detailed PDF about all the layers and what they do, how much money they make. If you want it, comment SpaceX and I'll send it to you. Follow for more.